धन्यवाद महोदय.
धन्यवाद.
Dhanyavad. Welcome all of you. Namo Namaha. A hearty welcome to warm welcome to all of you for English Bhagavad Gita classes. As all of you already know, our English Bhagavad Gita classes will be every Wednesday between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we'll be starting. Last week we had inaugural class, and today we'll be starting the classes. And as I think many of you may be knowing that today is Ekadashi, and the day when Krishna did Gitopadesha to Arjuna was also Ekadashi. So today is very auspicious day and a very good day to begin this Bhagavad Gita classes. So I feel that we are all blessed to have it, to start it today. So I pray God and start this class. For the smooth running of this class, let us all pray Bhagavan Krishna and start the classes. So as I told, these English classes will be every Wednesday between 8 to 9, and I'll tell you how the classes will be. So like every day, 5 shlokas first I will chant, and those who are interested in learning chanting, pronunciation, some of them have expressed their interest in learning chanting. So please keep a Bhagavad Gita book with you and also a pencil with you, so that whenever once I will chant the shlokas, and at the end Bhagini also will be teaching you the chanting of the shlokas. So first time when I chant, please you can have the pencil and mark where to split the sandhis. In Sanskrit there are sometimes words which are very big, so you cannot you will not know where to split those things and chant. So please keep a pencil, and wherever we have to do sandhi vicheda, so those things you can mark. And also some of the names, keywords, some of the meanings also you can write with pencil. And one more thing is, if you find any shloka very interesting, very relevant, very close to your heart, then also you can write a nice shloka or important shloka, something like that you can mark, so that whenever you open the book, you can read those shlokas again and again. So please keep a book. Even though we are displaying the shlokas here on the screen, we are sharing the screen with the shlokas that we are chanting that day, but it is better, always better, you have a small book of Bhagavad Gita where you can write your own notes, where to split and where to pause and how the tune and what are the word meanings or what are important shlokas which you like the shlokas. Those things you can just note down. So please keep a pencil and book with you. So first, as I told you, I'll be chanting 5 shlokas, and after that it will be followed by the meanings of the shlokas. I'll be explaining the meanings of the shlokas, and after finishing that, Sukanya Bhagini will be making you to chant the shlokas. Like, she will tell one line, and someone should repeat that, and then others also can mute, and then you can also repeat. And please, those who are interested in chanting, they can raise their hands. We'll call out the names and we'll note down the names also, so that the same people cannot be like all of you should get chance. So that way we are planning. So first I will be chanting 5 shlokas, and I'll be telling the meaning. Please don't raise now. It's not started at all. When we chant the shlokas, all of you will get chance. If time is there, there may be 6 people, 7 people also can be called. Depending on the time, we'll see, and we'll note the names, and next week we'll call other people, those who didn't get chance this week. So all of you can learn chanting. You can mute and you can chant with the Bhaginis. Once she will chant, and next time one more student will chant. That way you'll get 2 times chance to chant the shlokas, and definitely you can learn chanting and meaning both in this class. And one more thing is, a sincere request to all of you is, kindly always mute your videos and audios, so that there will be clarity. You can clearly hear what I'm talking here. So please mute, because the number is more. So if all the videos and audios are muted, then there will be clarity. You can hear me properly. And also videos many times disturb other students also. Please don't keep your videos open. That is our request. And one more is doubts. So if you get any doubts when I am explaining the meanings, please you can note down those things, write and keep those things in the notebook. When I finish explanation, then you are most welcome to ask your doubts or share anything, any type of discussion. You are welcome for that. Plus, please don't ask in between, because the classes are getting recorded. So please let us keep that record only explanation, and after that we can have discussion or doubts or whatever you want to share, or whatever we can talk after finishing the explanation of 5 shlokas. So
after Mangala Shloka.
Okay, so after once I finish the explanation, there will be Mangala Shloka by Sukanya Bhagini, and after that we can discuss, and then we'll do Parayana, and that will be the conclusion of the class. This is the method that is followed during our class. So please, I request all of you to follow these things so that for the smooth running of the class.
Astu Bani.
Dhanyavad. So I hope last week many of you are there. I don't know. So last week what we did was we asked few questions like why Gita, why we should study Gita, and what is moksha, and what is karma yoga. Those things we discussed in detail. Very quickly I'll do recap of those things, those who were not there, for those who were not there for last week. So we asked last week why Gita. So the answer was, usually the answer will be, it is to get moksha. So then the next immediate question is, what is moksha? So again, the very customary answer is to get relief from the cycle of birth and death. Then the thought that comes to almost everybody's mind is that if moksha is something that we attain after death, then we should start studying Gita now. So, and people may say that there is no guarantee that we don't know what happens to us after death, and also moksha may be something which is imaginary. So why we should waste our time now in studying Gita and all? So the answer for this doubt or question is that moksha is not only relief of a cycle of birth and death. Moksha is liberation. Munchati iti mokshaha. It is a Sanskrit word. So moksha is liberation, and it can be liberation from sorrow, sadness, pain, worries, difficulties. So it can be relief from all these things. It can be liberation from all these things. And moksha is something which establishes inner peace and inner contentment. So moksha means to be happy always, irrespective of external conditions. However may be our family conditions, however may be our workplace, it may not be the way we expect it to be, our health or our surroundings, our friends. So nothing may be according to our wish, but then also how to lead happy life, how to have inner peace. That's what is moksha. The establishment of inner peace is moksha. Then if this is moksha, if we can be happy in spite of adverse external conditions, then how we get that inner peace? So that is by training our mind. Then where we get that training? So we have seen last week that training we'll get it from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so now few more questions. Before entering the Gita, that starting the Gita shlokas, Gita Pravesha, we need to know some more things. That is, what is Gita, where it is found, who has written it, and who told it to whom, and why he told, what is the context. So these are very short, small questions. Let us try to find the answers for this before doing Gita Pravesha. So what is Gita? Gita is dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. It is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And who has written Gita? For that question, it is Vedavyasa. And who told it to whom? Again, Krishna told it to Arjuna. And where it is found, where Gita is found? Gita is a part of Mahabharata. So please note that Gita is not at all an independent work. It is not an independent epic or book or grantha. It is part of Mahabharata. And the writer of Mahabharata is Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa is a saint or a person who got the name after compiling the Vedas, after classifying the Vedas. His earlier name was Krishna Dvaipayana. And not only Mahabharata, he has written Bhagavata, Ashtadasha Puranas, that is 18 Puranas, Brahma Sutra, and so many other things. And Mahabharata is the biggest epic in the world. It has got more than 1 lakh shlokas. No other epic in the world in any language is as big as Mahabharata. And in Mahabharata, we have 18 chapters. And they are called as parvas. Each chapter is called as parva. And there are 18 parvas, namely Adi Parva, Sabha Parva, Virata Parva, Drona Parva, Bhishma Parva, and so on. Anushasana Parva, Udyog Parva. There are so many parvas. Like how in Ramayana, we have only 7 chapters and they're called as Kanda. It was like Balakanda, Aranyakanda, Sundarakanda, Kishkinda Kanda, Uttarakanda. So like this, the chapters of Ramayana are called as Kandas. The chapters of Mahabharata are called as Parvas. And chapters of Bhagavad Gita are called as Yoga. So in Bhagavad Gita also we have 18 chapters and they are called as Yoga, namely Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Atma Sanyama Yoga, and many more. So this is, and Bhagavad Gita is having 700 shlokas. Bhagavad Gita is found in 6th chapter of Mahabharata called as Bhishma Parva. So Bhagavad Gita is part of Mahabharata. It is found in 6th chapter of Mahabharata called as Bhishma Parva. So before entering Gita, before doing Gita Pravesha, it's very, very essential to know the story of Mahabharata. I think many of you may be knowing it, but then also I'll try to just tell you very briefly the major events that took place in Mahabharata story. So only after that we can understand the Bhagavad Gita and especially the Vishada of Arjuna. Why Arjuna was so sad, so distressed, so disappointed and disturbed. So what is the reason for that? So to learn, Bhagini, still time is there. We may not do chanting today. Depending on that time, we will see. First, I'm doing Mahabharata now. So please, no need to raise your hands. Only when we do chanting, we can do that. Okay. So quickly, I'll try to just narrate you the major events of Mahabharata story. So all of you, almost all of you may be knowing, young students also. So I thought I'll be telling you the major things. So as all of you know, Mahabharata is, the Mahabharata war is between two sets of cousins called as Kauravas and Pandavas. Pandavas' parents are Panduraja and Kunti. Panduraja had 2 wives, Kunti and Madri. And Panduraja was cursed by Kindama Muni, Kindama Rishi, for some reason. Each and everything is a separate story. Mahabharata consists of infinite number of stories. So I'm not going into the details of that. Panduraja was cursed by Kindama Rishi and couple were not able to have children. So that was his greatest worry. Panduraja was so worried that there will not be any inheritor for the Hastinapura Simhasana. There will not be any heir or Uttradhikari for that Simhasana. So he was worried. And Kunti tells her husband that when in her childhood, when she was young, once Durvasmani visited Kunti's place and Kunti did lot of seva. She helped him in doing puja, like plucking the flowers, making garlands and cleaning the puja utensils and all those things. So she used to be around that puja graha, and Durvas Muni was very much pleased by this little girl's service, and then he blessed her with a boon and told her that I will. And Durvasa Muni was a Trikala Jnani. So probably he knew that this boon will be of great help for Kunti in future. So he gave her that boon and told that you chant this mantra and invite some devatas, they can give you a child. And Kunti didn't understand that, and she experimented also, and she got Karna. And all of you know this story. This story I'll be telling later. So after Kunti was married to Pandu, and they came to know that they are not able to get children, and then Kunti tells all this to Panduraja, and Panduraja was very happy, and he asked Kunti to chant the mantra. So Kunti chants the first mantra and invites Yamadharmaraya, and Yamadharmaraya blesses the couple with the child, and they name him as Yudhishthira. So Yudhishthira was the eldest child of the couple. He was very righteous, virtuous, valorous, and very, very sincere, obedient child. And second time, they invite Vayudeva, and uh, Vayudeva blesses the couple, a child, and they name him as Bhima. Bhima in Sanskrit means huge. The child at the time of birth only was very hefty, very huge, very heavy. He was very tall, and they named him as Bhima. And later, Bhima became very powerful, very strong, and he was able to uproot the big, big trees with single hand. He was able to fight with the demons and Rakshasas alone. So Bhima was very powerful and very kind at heart. And all these Pandavas were very kind, and they used to show a lot of respect to elders, very polite and very sincere people. And next was the couple invite Indra, and then they were blessed with a child, and he was called as Arjuna. They named the child as Arjuna. Arjuna was very sharp, very intelligent, very focused in learning the things. And again, he was also very sincere, very polite, and very kind. And Kunti was so kind that she taught the mantra to uh, Panduraja's second wife Madri, and Madri also chanted the mantra, and she got two children called as Nakula and Sahadeva by inviting Ashwini Devatas. Nakula was very handsome, and Nakula and Sahadeva both were experts in Pashupalana, animal husbandry, means cows, horses, elephants. So they were using these horses and elephants in the war. So those days, animal husbandry means teaching them the war skills, the taming the elephants and taming the horses, teaching them the war skills and how to treat them if they get injuries in the war, what food should be given to them during the war, and how long they should sleep, and how they should be treated, and all those things. These Nakula and Sahadeva were experts, and also Nakula was expert in Ayurvedic sciences, so he used to treat people also. So these are the characters, five Pandavas. And Dhritarashtra and his wife was Gandhari. They got 101 children, and one girl, Dushala, was there, and 100 sons were there. So the eldest was named as Duryodhana, the second was Dushasana, followed by all the other 98 names started with Du. So this was the family of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, he himself was very self-centered, and he had a great lust for power and position. He always wanted to be honored as a king. He always liked that power and position and all those things. And naturally, Duryodhana, he by the childhood he was brought up in that way only. So naturally, Duryodhana was also very self-centered, and he had also lust, lobha for that throne, Simhasan. So he always wanted to become a king, wanted to rule people, not because he wanted the subjects to be happy, it is because he wanted power. And in addition to that, Duryodhana had one more negative quality other than what his father had, that was jealous. So he was very jealous of Pandavas from the childhood, because Pandavas were very strong, very powerful, very righteous, and they were gaining popularity day by day. And also they were favorites of these Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, Kripachara, and all. So Bhima was very jealous of Pandavas. So from the child, especially, very sorry, Duryodhana was very jealous of Pandavas, and especially Duryodhana was very jealous of Bhima. So he tried to poison Bhima once, he tried to drown him in the river once, but luckily Bhima escaped and came back safely. And once it so happens that there was a neighboring kingdom called as Varnavat, and there was a utsav there, a fair, a jatra. So as a custom, they had to send invitation to Hastinapur kings. Usually, if jatra or utsav takes place, they used to send invitation to all the surrounding kings. So the invitation came to Hastinapur also. So Duryodhana, Dushasana were there, and also they had one maternal uncle, that is Gandhari's brother, called as Shakuni. So Shakuni used to nurture all the negative thoughts of Duryodhana. So Shakuni used to support Duryodhana so much, he was always with him, and he used to plan how to deceive these Pandavas, how to trouble Pandavas, how to snatch whatever they have. So Duryodhana always had a support of this Shakuni. So Shakuni, Duryodhana, and Dushasana made a plot again to kill all the Pandavas. So what they did was, in Varnavath, there was a famous architect in those days called as Purochana from Hastinapur. So they called Purochana, bribed him with money and all, and asked him to construct a wax house in that Varnavath. So Purochana constructed a very beautiful palatial building, and he decorated it, so many designs and so many things, so many drawings, paintings, everything on the wall, and it looked so beautiful. And they kept that ready, and then Duryodhana was successful in convincing his father and Bhishma Drona that this time we'll send Kunti and Pandavas to represent our Hastinapur, and let them go to Varnavath and stay there for 15 days. Let them enjoy and come. Then Bhishma Drona, all the elders thought that yes, it is true. After Kunti lost, I think I forgot to tell you that Pandu Raja dies in between. It was very unfortunate. And then Kunti, along with five sons, she comes to Hastinapura palace. Earlier, they were living in a forest. Because of the curse, Pandu had moved to forest. So after the death of Pandu, they came to the Hastinapur palace. They had come to Hastinapur palace, and they were under the guardianship of Bhishma. And strictly speaking, the Dhritarashtra was the guardian for these Pandavas also. So all these elders thought that Kunti also has not gone anywhere outside after the death of her husband. So she also needs some change. So let her go and enjoy that fest and come back. So everyone felt that let Kunti and Pandavas represent Hastinapura, and they go there. And when Kunti heard this, she also felt that that was a good decision, because she could get some fresh air once she moves out of the palace, because after her husband's death, she also had not gone anywhere. So all the Pandavas were also happy. They thought that it's a family trip. But and all the arrangements were done, everybody agreed for that, and then all the chariots were ready, and some people were sent along with them. And when they were about to leave, Vidura, the stepbrother of Dhritarashtra and also chief minister for Dhritarashtra, he very slightly gives warning. He gives a message to Yudhishthira telling that beware of Vayu and Agni. He just says that much. He couldn't tell more. He understood that, somehow he understood how these Kauravas have got such a good mind towards Pandavas, why they have built, why they have taken so much of interest in building that building for them, that palatial building for them. So he just probed, and he came to know that there is some plot, there is something they are doing, they are planning. Then he studied, and he came to know that it is a wax house, Vidura. So then he couldn't say it in front of the elder. So he just warns Yudhishthira that beware of this Vayu and Agni. And Yudhishthira, during the journey, he starts thinking that Chikkappa, that is uncle, he will not tell anything simply. So if he has told, means I should really take it serious. So Yudhishthira was, throughout the journey, he was thinking about that. When they reached Varnavath, Kunti was so happy. The building was so nice. The architecture there, the designs, the colors, everything was so nice. Fantastic house was made for them. And she stayed there. They had their dinner. And in the night, after Kunti slept, Yudhishthira told his brothers about Vidura's caution, and then they banged the doors, the walls. They just knocked the walls, and then they felt that it is not the usual wall. It is not made up of the usual material, the brick or the stone or the mud or whatever materials they used to use in the constructions. So they came to know that it is made up of wax, and they came to know that it is a trap. So they started planning how they can get rid of that, how they can escape from there. The next day morning, Vidura finds a person who was expert in making the tunnels. That person, within 2 days, he makes the tunnel from the room where the Pandavas stayed to the forest. So the day when the plan was there to set fire, that day only, before just 2-3 hours before, all the Pandavas escaped through the tunnel, and from the far distance they saw, and that building where they were staying was burning like anything. Kunti felt so sad and she felt so insecure, and she thought that, oh, my children, my sons, they cannot get protection in this Hastinapur. So let us move out of Hastinapur. She takes her children to a town called as Ekachakranagara, where they stay in disguise. These children, all the Pandavas, they dress themselves as Brahmins, and they start doing Bhiksha there. And there the incidents of Bakasura Vada happens. So this is also a big story. So Bhima kills Bakasura there, and then Kunti feels that if the news spreads killing Bakasura, then people may identify it as Bhima, because killing a Rakshasa alone, it was only Bhima in those days also. So if Bakasura is killed, then everyone started doubting that, oh, it should be Bhima. But actually, everybody thought that Pandavas are burnt alive in that Lakshagraha, in that Araginamane, or that wax house. The news went to Hastinapur palace, and everyone thought that Pandavas are no more. But these people, they were in disguise and moving from place to place. And then they move, and Vyas Maharshi comes and tells them about the Draupadi Swayamvara, and Pandavas go there to Swayamvara. Arjuna does Matsya Vedana, and they marry Draupadi and bring her. So when Arjuna does Matsya Vedana, again the news spreads around, and people understood that Pandavas are alive. And then the news, Shalini Bhagini, please mute. Shalini Shrikant Bhagini. Yes, thank you. So the news reaches Hastinapur palace, and then again Bhishma, Drona and Vidura invite Pandavas, Kunti along with the newly wed bride Draupadi to the Hastinapura palace. And then the elders sit and discuss, and they started thinking that if the enmity between these two has reached the peak, so it is not safe to have them in the same palace. Then the elders thought that let us divide the kingdom, like how the brothers divide. Usually that happens. So the elders thought that we will divide the kingdom into two equal parts. Let Pandavas have one part, Kauravas have one part. Let them rule that part and live happily. That was the plan of the elders, and they thought that we'll divide them equally. There also Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they make injustice to these Pandavas. They give a hilly, rocky and thorny region called as Khandava Prastha to Pandavas. So where there was no water, where there was no fertile land, it was very, very difficult. It was a deserted place. Nobody used, uninhabited place. It was not possible for anyone to live there at all. Such a hilly and thorny region was given to these Pandavas. So this Bhima and Arjuna, naturally, they were very strong, very powerful, and they used to get anger every now and then, and they started telling that we'll go and fight. Why they have given this to us? Let them divide Hastinapur equally and Khandavaprastha equally. So the good place they have kept, and bad places they are given to us. And we have strength, so we can fight. We can even wage war on them and get our share. That was the argument of Bhima and Arjuna. But Krishna and Yudhishthira was peace lovers. So they told, yes, dear brothers, you have energy, no? You have strength, no? You are capable, no? Then use it in constructive things. Don't do destructive things. Don't go and kill your brothers, hurt your brothers. There is no point. It's okay. Land is a land. They have given us some hilly, rocky region, no? So let us, you have strength, no? So let us convert that into a good place. Let us convert that into a nice place where a fertile place where the crops will grow. So then Krishna calls a Rakshasa called as Maya, who burns all the thorny areas, and then Pandavas really put effort and convert that land into a plain land. They construct lakes and some water bodies, and then they start growing there. Everywhere there was greenery, and Krishna calls an architect called as Vishwakarma, and they build a beautiful palace there, and they name it as Indraprastha, and that Indraprastha is present New Delhi. So then they do housewarming, and again Kauravas were called, and Kauravas again started feeling very jealous of these Pandavas. Even if we give them Kandava Prastha, they were converted into Indraprastha. So again, all this Duryodhana, Dushasana, Shakuni started thinking how we can snatch that Indraprastha from Pandavas now. So that was their thought. So then again they started thinking how this can be done, how this can be achieved, that is snatching the Indraprastha. So then uh, Yudhishthira was very fond of dice, the gambling or game of dice is Pagade. Shalini Bhagini, please mute ma. Can you mute? Her video
She's
was,
on mute, but she has put on her video.
yeah, video was on. Astu, dhanyavad. Uh, uh, so this Yudhishthira was very fond of playing the game of dice, and then uh, Shakuni was also expert in that. Shakuni was expert in playing also. Shakuni was expert in cheating also, deceiving also. So they thought that we'll make use of this. So they invite Pandavas for the game of dice, and Yudhishthira thought that there is nothing wrong in having friend. One thing is Yudhishthira was fond of that game, and also he thought that nothing wrong in having friendly games like this. Let us be good friends. We are after all brothers. So if my brother has called to play, why I should refuse? He thought that way, like how we have international things, no, tournaments, cricket and football. Nowadays also it happens between two countries. So in the same way, Yudhishthira thought that why to refuse? So let us, it is better to have friendly relations. So thinking like that, he agrees and he goes there. But the scene was totally different there. They had to keep something in stake, pledge something. So first Yudhishthira kept all his properties, his dhana, kanaka, gold and all those things at stake, and then he lost. And then next he pledged himself, and then he lost. It is because of Shakuni. Shakuni was deceiving. He was very expert in that. And then he pledged his brothers. He lost. And finally, he pledges his wife Draupadi. And again, he loses. And now, Pandavas, they started laughing like villains. They thought that they can make Draupadi as their maid. And then Duryodhana orders Dushasana to bring Draupadi to the court because now she is our dasi, now she is our servant. And then Dushasana goes and pulls her from her hair and brings her to the court. And she was crying, shouting, screaming. But in spite of that, Dushasana didn't stop. And Duryodhana orders to pull her sari, and it was also done. And Draupadi looks up for help. Her husbands just were sitting, putting their heads down. Draupadi looks for the help for Drona, Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, Kripacharya. There were so many elders, but all of them were speechless, all of them were helpless, all of them, their heads were down because the agreement was like that, and the game's rules were like that. Yudhishthira had lost everything. So then all the elders felt that even if we interfere, Duryodhana will not listen to any of us. How arrogant and adamant Duryodhana was, everybody knew. So all of them were speechless. And finally, Draupadi started screaming, and then she thought that it's only Krishna who can protect me now. Because she had so much of devotion, strong devotion and faith in Sri Krishna, she started praying Sri Krishna, and Lord Krishna definitely came and helped her. As and when Dushasana was pulling the sari of Draupadi, Krishna went on giving the sari to her. The sari became endless, and Dushasana was pulling, and finally he gets tired and collapses. So then Draupadi, Lord Krishna protected her, and then Dhritarashtra, being the king of this court, he interferes, and he feels very embarrassed and very sad that the Kulavadu, the Bahu of that entire dynasty, was being humiliated and insulted. So Dhritarashtra feels little sad for that, and he says, "Oh dear Bahu, so I'm very sorry for what has happened. So I'll give you two boons. You can ask whatever you want." So Draupadi says that from one boon, she asked for release of all her husbands, and one more is to get back the kingdom, that is Indraprastha. So they get their Indraprastha and they were released. They go back to their kingdom. And after some days, again this Kauravas, Shakuni and all these people again invite Yudhishthira for the game. And Yudhishthira again agrees and he comes. So now this time it was not his brothers or his wife or anything. The agreement was the loser should go to Vanamasa for 12 years and 1 year Adnyatavasa. Adnyatavasa means they should hide themselves. If they're identified, they should do Vanamasa again 12 years. They should be in forest, they should be in exile. So that was the rule. And again, because of this Shakuni's Shadyantra, so Pandavas lost and Pandavas had to go for Vanamasa. So they again, in the Vanamasa 12 years, they had a very difficult life. They had to eat whatever was available for them. They had to wear the dresses made of the bark, of the tree bark, and they had to sleep on the ground. And Draupadi was so sad, so insulted, and every day she used to cry. At the day when they went home, that day also, Bhima took a horrible oath telling that I will I will tear the chest of Dushasana, and I will take that blood and then put the plaits of Draupadi's hair. So he says Draupadi to leave her hair like that only, and one day he will bring the blood of Dushasana and he will put the plaits. And also he says that I will break the thigh of Duryodhana. So that was the oath taken by Bhima. And throughout 13 years of Vanvasa, every day they are preparing for Yuddha. So every day they were sharpening their weapons. And Arjuna did a Ghora tapas, and Shiva came and he gave him Pashupatastra. And also Yama, Vayu, Indra, Varuna, Agnideva, everybody gave weapons to Arjuna. So he collected so many weapons, because as soon as they returned after completing the 13 years of Vanvasa, they thought that we will wage war and take revenge on what is done, for what humiliation, what insult has done for Draupadi. So we have to take revenge. So after immediately returning, we will wage a war on Kauravas. That was the thought. When they finish 13 years, they come back. Duryodhana refuses to give back Indraprastha. So this they had not even imagined. They thought that they'll go to Indraprastha and they'll settle down and then they will wage war. But there was no place for them to settle down also. They had to stay in Drupada Raja's kingdom, their father-in-law's place. And then they came and asked, and Duryodhana said that, no, I will not give. You can win the battle and take it. So you wage a war, win the battle and take it. I'm not giving. So it's like giving our home keys before we go out of station, and after we come back after 1 week or so, if our neighbors occupy our house and they refuse to give our house to us only, how shocking it will be. It was so shocking for the Pandavas. So there was no other way for them but to wage a war against Kauravas. But then also Krishna and Yudhishthira with Shanti Priyas, they thought that Yuddha means, war means, so many innocent soldiers should die. So they should lose their lives, they should sacrifice, and there will be loss of money, energy, time, waste of money, energy, time, and so many precious lives also. So why Yuddha? So Krishna thought that, let me ask. Krishna convinced Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira was also ready for that. Let us, okay, Duryodhana is like that. He is like that from the beginning. He is self-centered. It's okay. Let him keep Hastinapura also. Let him keep Indraprastha also. But let him give only 5 villages for us, and we will live happily there. But Bhima and Arjuna were so upset by this treaty that this Yudhishthira was going to do with the Kauravas, because they were waiting, because the Bhima he had to fulfill his pratijna, and Arjuna also had gathered so many weapons. He also wanted war. Kunti was also upset. Draupadi was also upset. But Krishna thought that Shanti is the best policy forever. So he thought that we must establish Shanti. Krishna goes to Duryodhana's place as an ambassador, as a Duta, but Duryodhana rejects the proposal of Krishna. Duryodhana says, forget 5 villages. I can't give you the space occupied by 5 needle tips. That much of place also I cannot give for Pandavas. I'll not give anything to Pandavas. Let they can wage war. What Duryodhana thought was Pandavas might have become weak during the Vanvasa. They must not be having good food, and also Duryodhana was a king. He had power, he had money, he has time. So he had gathered 11 Akshohini Sainya. Already he had also prepared for the war. So he thought that I have 11 Akshohini Sainya, I have Bhishma, I have Drona, I have Kripacharya, I have Karna. So definitely I will win the war. That was his thought. So he rejected the entire proposal and war was inevitable. So war was not Pandavas' choice at all. War was essential, inevitable for the Pandavas. War was the thought of Kauravas. So Pandavas had to agree for the war or start the war. So this is how the Mahabharata war started. A day was fixed, place was fixed, and the war began. So before that, so now we are doing Gita Pravesha. This is where we enter into the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we will be reading I think maybe 2 shlokas today, and I'll try to explain those. And then, if time permits, we can do chanting practice. Otherwise, definitely from the next week there will be no Mahabharata story. So definitely we'll be doing chanting, meaning, and again chanting. It will be like that. So today we may not get time to chant, please. So Sukanya Bhagini, Lata Bhagini,
Am
please
Bhagini.
share the screen, and Sukanya Bhagini will.
Sure.
Uh, Bhagini, I think I will start, and at the end you start. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So this is how it starts. Atha prathamodhyayah Arjuna Vishada Yogaha Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. So here the Bhagavad Gita starts with Dhritarashtra Uvacha, means Dhritarashtra told. So Dhritarashtra was a born blind king. He was not able to see anything. When Shaila Ramachandran, Bhagini, please mute. Yes, thank you.
Shamyatam.
So, when the war was commenced, Vedavyasa comes to Dhritarashtra and asks, I can give you Divya Drishti. That is, sitting in your palace, you can watch the Kurukshetra war. So, that is Divya Drishti. So, if you want, I can give you that. So, see the technology, how it was in our ancient time. If this Mahabharata story was told just 100 years back, then we would have told that it is imaginary. But now, I don't know where and all you people are, and I am here in my house, and we are able to communicate each other, see each other if we wish to see. So this is possible, and mostly our ancestors had this technology, but it is so unfortunate that it was not well documented, nor neither it was preserved. So we might have lost those things. So it has again come from Westerners to us. There are so many things that has happened like this. So this is also one of those things. So when Vedavyasa offers Divya Drishti to Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra thinks that I couldn't see the faces of the babies when they were born. I couldn't enjoy their childhood, Leela, Vinoda. I couldn't see them playing. I couldn't see them fighting. I couldn't see them growing. I couldn't see their marriages. I couldn't see their children. So nothing I was able to see. I didn't enjoy anything. I didn't see my children's face at all. Now, when they are about to die, because Yuddha means, so definitely some of them will die, or all of them may die. So what's the use of getting this Divya Drishti? What's the use? Should I get eyesight just to see my children's dead bodies, or just to see my children suffering in a pool of blood, crying in a pool of blood, lying in a pool of blood? So he thought like that, and then he says, no, no, Vedavasji, I don't want this Divya Drishti, I don't want eyesight, but definitely I would like to listen the news of the battlefield. So please give Divya Drishti to Sanjaya. Sanjaya is the most loyal and obedient charioteer of Dhritarashtra. He always, because Dhritarashtra was blind, so he always used to be with Dhritarashtra only. So this way, Sanjaya gets the Divya Drishti. So he is like live telecast. He is like commentary. We do not cricket commentary like that. Sanjaya was telling what is happening, everything, the details, the finer details, everything. Sanjaya was narrating to Dhritarashtra. So now here in the first shloka, Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, last word, Hey Sanjaya, Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre, in the field of Kurukshetra, battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is also called as Dharmakshetra, Samaveta, gathered, Yuyutsavaha, one who is very eager to fight the war, Samaveta, gathered there, Mamakaha, my own children, Pandavaha, Pandu's children. So how he is differentiating, even though he is the guardian, Pandu Raja is not there, but then also he is differentiating. Mamakaha means my own children, Pandavaha means Pandu's children. Kima Kurvata Sanjaya, what they are doing right now is the question asked by Dhritarashtra. This is how the Bhagavad Gita book opens, the Bhagavad Gita starts. So we'll see where is Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is even today. There is a place, there is a railway station called as Kurukshetra. Some maybe around 20 years back, when I was traveling from Bangalore to Delhi, I saw this platform Kurukshetra. I was so thrilled. I thought that it's only in Mahabharat, and I got down there on the platform and asked some people around there, is it the same Kurukshetra which is there in Mahabharat? This Bhagavad Gita, they said yes, it is the same Kurukshetra. I was so thrilled to see that. So Kurukshetra is between Delhi and Ambala, and then Hastina, and it is in Haryana. Hastinapur also is there even today by the same name. There is a place called as Hastinapur. It is in the district of Meerut in the state of Uttar Pradesh. So these two places are there. The distance between those two places is roughly around 130 or 138 kilometers. And the Kurukshetra is called as Dharmakshetra because many people did some austerities, tapas there, starting from Kuru Raja. So many people did tapas. So that was called as Dharmakshetra. And why they chose Kurukshetra, which was quite far from this Hastinapur? It was because they needed thousands and thousands of acres of land to station so many people there. It was 11 Akshohini Sainya from the Kaurava side. So one Akshohini Sainya is 21,870 chariots, 21,873 elephants, 65,370 horses, 1,09,450 soldiers together make one Akshohini Sainya. So like this, Duryodhana had gathered 7 Akshohini Sainya, and Pandavas also had gathered 7 Akshohini Sainya. So because it was very far, so people were not able to travel. So all the soldiers from Hastinapura also had to stay there. So some 2-3 months back, before only they started constructing the tents there, like how the stadiums will be prepared for the tournaments. In the same way, there were preparations. They were constructing tents for different kings because the kings had come to help these people. So these are the Kauravas and Pandavas are the host, and those people are the guests. So they had to make places for them to sleep, to take rest, to wash their clothes, to prepare for the war, to sharpen their weapons, and also huge ground in between the two tents to station all these armies. So they needed huge land. That's why they selected this Kurukshetra. And because there was such a big construction work going on. Each and every individual from the Hastinapur, they were all in the Kurukshetra battlefield, either as the soldiers or as the helpers or as the nurses or as the doctors or as the provision providers or as the milkman or something. So Hastinapur was so empty, like how our in COVID time our marketplaces used to be. Hastinapur, everywhere there was sannata, there were no people at all. In each and every houses there were only old people and children, only they were remaining there. Even in Hastinapur palace there was blind king Dhritarashtra, his wife Gandhari, and then this Sanjaya, the obedient assistant for these two, and also Vidura, who didn't take part in the Mahabharata Yuddha. Vidura he was in his own house, but he used to visit the palace every now and then. So this was the situation of the Hastinapura and the Kurukshetra. So now today it is day one. So Dhritarashtra is asking Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. So what is happening there? So this is how it starts. So now I'm going to conclude this. The explanation part will be over. If anybody is having, and I will be continuing with the second shloka from next week, and next week it will be only shlokas, meaning and chanting. This was the Pitika or the introduction we needed. That's why I finished that. And this I'll conclude this class Bhagini, followed by the Mangala Shloka, and then if any one of you have any doubts you can ask, and it will be followed by a Parayana of 5 shlokas, chanting of 5 shlokas. Sukanya Bhagini, chant.
अस्तु भगिनि. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि भवन्तु. हरि ओम. धन्यवादः.
Dhanyawad Bhagini. So if